I was up so early today. I get so excited coming down here still that I can't. I'm always up before my alarm, and my alarm's set for 5 o'clock, but I was up before that. Good job I go to bed early. Just going to give Mochyn a quick sanding. The peel pliers done its job, to be honest with you. There's very little, if any, texture there, but there is some bits and bobs like here, these little sharper edges, and here and at the end, of course. But other than that, I think she's ready to maybe just paint. So because the paint always shows up your prep. But so far, that's okay for me. This is good. Let's try and blend that in a little bit into that bit. Right, on to the next job. I've just very gently rested the cover over the top. It's got just enough sort of stiffness in it to sit astride of it, as long as nobody touches it, that is. And hopefully that will dry under there, because it definitely is supposed to rain, and it definitely looks like rain, and it has actually been raining a little bit, so yeah, that should keep it honest. Let's get tadpole blown up. Let's go and get Lulu. The boat is full of water. Look, it's rainwater. We're just going to have to bilge pump that out. Oh, I can't tell you. I think the last week, since we were here last week, it has literally rained every day, and it's been almost non-stop. I think yesterday was the first time we saw a little bit of sun, but it's been like this and it's been raining, you know. That was hard work. I've got to get myself a electric pump. We're looking at the boom, and here is the boom. Now you can see we could put the boom up a bit higher, couldn't we? Because that, let's try and show you. Let's try and do this. Let's take that pin out. That needs to be about here, something like that. So I think we can raise that boom gooseneck, or whatever it's called, a little bit. Just going to put the one screw in, and now we're going to put the boom back in. Let's put the pin in here. Oh, that's the way. It's a little bit tight, this thing, and then we also need to actually just screw that somehow, so we know we can always get that in. Maybe screw that into there, like on the mirror. But now let's have a look at that. That's a bit better, isn't it? Because you don't want it too tight, this sail. It is a lugger after all. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, let's have a look, is this. We're going to actually, that's interesting, isn't it? We're going to pull, that's going to come from there. I mean, the only reason I've got this in here was originally we were going to do this like the mirror. Let's bring you closer, where you actually just loop that through and then tie that off somehow like that, and then your adjustment would come from that, see? But if we want to get this adjustable, or we want to remove this sail quickly and get rid of the boom, then, you know, tying a knot here, it has got a pretty big knot, or around here, it's going to be a bit awkward. So what I might do is get a shackle. So let's get some shackles. We're over here. So I'm going to get this more smooth shackle. So let's do that. And then all we'll do is we'll use this shackle. Now, this is much better than the pin, because than the little clip that we use here, because it was too big. It was making the sail too loose, which defeats the object of having a boom. And then that will just do up there, like so. And now we've got our, there we go. That's tight enough, isn't it? It's as tight as you're going to get it, really. Could go another centimetre maybe, but I think that's good enough. And then we can let that out when it wants, you want a little bit more shape here, maybe. But there we go, that's one thing done. Let's just wind that over there just for now. Let's see, oh, that's the wind. Let's see how tight we can get this. Let's move you. Okay, so there we go. That's pretty tight. We can go further. You can see how a track or something on here would be even better. That is giving us much more control over the sail. So let's pull that a little bit more at the risk of killing things. I think if we have a little fair lead in there, just there, that will be job done here. And then when we get the mirror outhaul, we'll be able to do that. But look at that, look at how flat that sail is now for beating. That's amazing, isn't it? And then when we're beating, especially, we often get this, the leech of the sail, was that the luff, flapping. Well, now with the vang, so say we're just pointing into the window a little bit now, with the vang, you can bring that sail down and look, it straightens the leech. Watch. Or the luff, sorry. It straightens it. There you go. It's still quite it's, you know, not a new sail, so there's going to be a little bit of wear in there. But if we do that as well, that's going to be brilliant, isn't it? So already, look at that shape. Already, I can feel this is going to be much better than even last week, which is going to be great. Now there's one last job to do with this boom, and that is to put what's, I think it's called a retainer. So when you're wing on winging, and this is how we'll look now, wing on wing, which is amazing, because previously the sail, would kind of go behind in a big W, and then it would just not have any sail area. But look at that now, it's brilliant. That's brilliant now. But what can happen when you wing on winging is you can do I think they call it a Chinese jibe. You can jibe very quickly, and that boom will come and get you. So what we can put is a retainer on. Now, the retainer that I did on the mirror with a little clip worked amazingly well. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to work out where this would be wing on winging, around here. And we're just going to try and find somewhere that we can clip this to, that will stop it from basically jibing.
Unfortunately, it's right by this little split here, but I think if we do it about here, just before it, and under there, I think that's going to be fine there.
Right, let's try and do this upside down. There we go. So that's in there. Now we can clip that in there. Get another clip which is down here. These clips are amazing, they're really good. Got them off Amazon. I think they must be 316 because they've not rusted one bit. I use them all over. all over. And then all we've got to do, instead of tying that off, we can now do a bowline this side as well. So it doesn't actually have to set the sail in the right place, it just has to stop it from jibing like that. And I think that's going to be fine. Give it a bit of a strain test, yeah. It's going to be fine. And then what we can do, the reason I like that is we can very quickly leave that clipped. If we know we're going to be running at some stage, we can even just clip it off here or through here so it's ready, and when we start to run we can just clip that there and that'll be ready to rock and roll. And these clips are quite nice, they are easy to undo. So there we go, we can leave that like down there. So that is one lugger boomed done, really, bar testing. The only issue we got with that boom is it's quite low, but then when I was looking at pictures of the mirror, the boom is low. Look how low it is on that boat and these boats. It's just that the cockpit goes much lower down on bigger boats. So yeah, it is what it is, that boom. I think it's going to be really good. Might be really useful today to try and do some low wind sailing as well. I need to get my Ukraine flag back on, although we're probably going to have to take it off again next week. Oh, wait. But now it's so easy to do, it's a bit of a shame not to do it. Let's do that. And all I do is use little tie-its, and we'll get that one. Make sure it's the right way up. Sky at the top, and just let it fly like that. So I do one sort of tight to keep it in the right spot, like so. And I do one a little bit looser so it doesn't all bunch up and gather. Here we go, and just snip those. Good. There you go. And then we just hoist them back up this way. Awesome. There she is. I do want to show my support for Ukraine, who continue to be under the grip of evil. Here is where I filled this, and whilst it's not beautiful, it has worked quite well, you know that. Probably needs a little bit of sanding down there. Yeah, I'll do that now, but I think we can drill holes and get this clip back in. And hopefully that clip will be a little bit nicer like that. I'm going to do one hole and screw this in first. That goes in. It's definitely biting a lot nicer. And then we just need to know where that one needs to go, about there. I'm not going to thread them, but because there's not much fiberglass in it, but that is fine. That's going to last the rest of the season brilliantly. Right, now we come to a job that I've been needing to do for a long time. You're always trying to improve your boat, and you don't really know till you sail it, and even then, on every trip, you don't really know what goes where and how you want to do things until you're on the trip. So it's like a completely breathing learning process. But one thing I'm really sure about is getting this area sorted out once and for all. It's getting very, very busy. So first of all, we're going to sort out this centerboard casing. Let's bring you closer. This, I don't really know what this is. Let's just get these. There's another screw and another washer found its way into the build. I don't know what this is for, other than I think what it does is it just stops. All I use it for is to tie through here. I just tie this through here and you know, so when we're traveling on the trailer, it won't let this raise or fall off in some way or bounce up and down. So I don't think it needs to be tied to this, and this is just loose. Now, one of the reasons I've been finding this so hard is I didn't realise this was tangled up in this block. So this is going to come off because we're going to simplify the front here a bit. One other area that gets quite busy is here. So I've got my jib halyard, I've got my gaff halyard, I've got my, I call that an uphaul for the sail when it's loose footed. It does work quite well like that. And I've got the spinnaker halyard here as well. And it's getting really busy, and especially having this loop, you can see how it kind of gets tangled up in here. And this is one line. So I'm going to undo this. Oh, by the way, the cleat under here, the clam cleat, I think it's called, is next to useless. I've had to loosen it off. It's brand new. I've had to loosen it off so much for it to actually work. But that's now, oh, that's round there. Okay. What a mess this is. It really does need tidying up. So, there we go. Let's pull that through. Now this is a lot tidier, isn't it? So, I just think what we need is a classic outhaul that just goes like this. I've removed the boom. So the first thing that, well, that's interesting, isn't it? If you do that. The first thing I've noticed here is that this is in the wrong place as well. So what we could actually do is reuse this block for the spinnaker sheet, for the uphaul here, and then this needs to move as well. This little fairlead is quite important because without it, I always lose this. And I can't bring it back down again. I have to bring the mast all the way down. So it is important this to have a clip off for the excuse me, I've got a screw in my mouth for the spinnaker halyard. So let's just see. We don't want it too close down here because we're going to have the same problem again. But we can bring it. Maybe we just bring it down and down here. Make it actually down here a little bit more. So I managed to reuse at least one of those holes that I left from this fairlead down here. And there we go, look. It's just now one line. There you go. That'll keep the sail in check there. And then when you need to just loosen that, it'll come loose. When we want to boom up, it's simple. So we can actually, I know this boom's a bit connected to the restrictor at the moment, but it is going. It's a little tiny little puff just coming through now. There you go. So we can take that off there, let that go, and then so that was it. This fairlead shackle will go in there, and then that's about as quick as we can do this at this point in time. I don't really see a problem in getting the boom up. I see more of a problem in getting it down. There we go. There we go, look at that. That's good, back there. Now, it does beg the question what these little holes are for, doesn't it? And I've got a funny feeling these aren't happy here. They're putting too much pressure on the thwart, so you can even see, look, when I do that, you can see the thwart moving up. And when I've been tightening this, I've been hearing the odd little crack here and there, which is never good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to loosen the forestay or the jib halyard off. Let's just unknot that. I should have done that first, shouldn't I? But there we go. And we're going to just push it through this hole and just see what happens. Just see if it's a bit happier this way. Let's. Oh, we got that completely the wrong way, didn't we? So that needs to go. Yeah, we need to bring that out. Sorry, and straight down here. But you see, when I had the little mainsail uphaul where it was, there was no room for any of this, you know, to go through the holes. So there you go. Now that is definitely going to put a lot less pressure on the thwart, isn't it? I reckon that's a bit tighter as well, you know. So I think that's a bit better like that. Yeah, look at that. So that's quite a thick rope. So what we could do is drill that out so this thicker rope will go through, or we could replace the halyard. But at the moment the halyard is pretty good. Right, let's give that a go. That'll definitely go in now. So that'll go in. Let's give that a go. Place. Now the gaff you do need to get down sometimes in a rush, but that's nice and easy there. And let's put a knot back in there. Keep that line good. There we go. The only thing I've got to do now is get rid of this cleat from under here. You may be able to see that. So I'm going to get rid of that. But look, this is looking quite tidy now, isn't it? Scratch the last video. So we've got one last job to do with this sail. And actually, it's not anything really to do with the boom. It's to do with this traveller here at the back. Now, normally, this traveller works, it just finds its own spot. So normally it'll come out here, and if you're beating and you really pull the main sheet in, it does pull it in a little bit, but it very rarely gets it into the middle, and you don't really have any control over the sheet. I don't know why we even have a traveller on the lugger. I'd have to look that up. Now, last week I used this system here and I tied it around the mizzen, and it gave me a pretty good well, it kept the sail pretty well centred about from here to there, because we just had this clip was huge and the line had some give in it, and it definitely worked. It worked really well. But I've actually got these from last series, you may remember. I put these in, and what these are for are, you can put, well, I actually attached lines to the horse traveller, but actually this time I'm going to attach these clips. Now this, you can clip onto the horse traveller. Let's just remove the mizzen sheet, because that wouldn't normally be there, and neither would the mizzen, quite frankly. Let's try and remove the mizzen, give ourselves a little bit of space there. So let's say we are beating and the wind is coming from port, so on port tack, the sail will want to be pushed over there, and the sail will probably be just this side of on the port side, but we can now control that from here. Look, there you go. So if we lock that in like that, we know that ring now. I know it's a bit complicated because we've got all this gumph in here at the moment, but that will, look, pull and stop the ring traveller from going any further. Now, there are circumstances where when the sail's on the starboard tack, you actually might want to bring this further back here and get some real twist in the sail. I've read about this and I cannot remember for the life of me why and when you do that. Is it light wind or strong wind? I don't know. It may be when you're reaching as well. But consequently, when you're reaching, you often want to pull the sail all the way back this way. Well, you wouldn't need to pull it all the way back this way. It'll come all the way back this way anyway. So that gives you control. But what we now need to do is control that from the other side. So we need another one of these. I've already put this one in, but we need another one of these, hopefully with a clip on the other side. And we're going to have to find a new spot to tie that bilge pump handle off, but that's the least of our worries. So there we go. I've actually used this line this side because I think it's actually a little bit better at gripping in the cleat. This polyester line is not brilliant at gripping in cleats. Now there you go. We can have 1, So that's going to be like that. Have one that side and one that side. And now we've got control. If we don't need to use both lines at the same time, we just need, if we're on one tack, we can set this way, and then we just let that release. And then if we're on the other tack, just got this board is in the way, but if we're on the other tack, we can, oh, there we go. We can, well, actually, look, we can center that now quite nicely there, and quite nicely on the other side. So there we go, we've got full control back. We'll see how we get on. Originally, when I first got the boat, I fitted this system onto it, but it all got a little bit kind of hectic, really. I think I got too many lines, it all got a bit confusing, so I took it out. But now perhaps we'll be able to cope with that a little bit better. Right, it's been, I think it was like 6 o'clock when I painted Mochyn D, and it hasn't really rained like it was supposed to, so let's have a quick look. It's definitely touch dry. That looks okay, doesn't it? So 12 hours, but maximum of 3 days. So we either come here, overcoat it, a maximum of, you know, a bit too late, or we come here, give it another overcoat now, and risk it being a bit early. We have to take our pick, so I'm going to go for early because that's the most beneficial. So let's just get this second little coat on here, and then I think we're good to go. There we go, done. I slapped it on a little bit in places, I'm not going to lie, a little bit vigorous. Let's just sort of try and smooth that out a little bit. Oh, I'm nearly through all these brushes, but gosh, the hairs, never again. There we go.